What's up creatives, this is Tom, welcome back to another video. What I want to talk to you today about is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Now I've been using it for a little while now and I want to talk particularly about whether it is the right choice for you as a content creator, maybe a video producer. I want to talk a little bit as well about this camera here. This is the Sony a7 III. It is the camera that I shoot almost all of my professional work on, or at least have been doing for the past sort of year or so. Now it is an extremely versatile camera. It has fantastic image stabilization, it shoots fantastic stills, the video it produces as well is just gorgeous. Sony have really made a name for themselves in the mirrorless space for video, and these cameras are just super versatile and fantastic to use for content creators. Now there are a few reasons I want to talk about with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera and why a little camera like the a7 III actually dramatically kicks it out of the park in terms of versatility for content production. Now before we kick off, I just want to say that the image that you get out of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema line is incredible, and I'm certainly not bashing these cameras. What I am just trying to do is help you to make an informed choice. For me personally, what I'm running is a camera like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K that I'm filming this on right now as my A camera. It's my primary driver for interviews, that type of thing. And then I'm also going to need another camera. That's something like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera on its own is not a super flexible solution for video production or content creation. Without further ado though, let's get started. So the data rates on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I'll throw them up on screen so you can take a little look at just how large some of the file size is. Now this will be usual to most people who have shot with cinema cameras before, but just I guess for an example, I did a couple of shoots over in Montenegro and in London just in the past couple of weeks with the Sony a7 III. Now I pretty much shot constantly for a couple of days for both shoots, so you're talking, you know, a good 300-400 clips. Now with the Sony a7 III, that probably took up about a couple of hundred gigs, maybe 200 gigabytes, 300 gigabytes worth of storage space. With the data rates on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, you're talking way more. Just going down to shoot sunset down at the beach near where I live, I think that took up about 70 gigs worth of storage. Obviously, if you shoot B-RAW, it's going to be a lot more, and if you shoot ProRes, or actually I shoot ProRes LT to save some space, that's going to be even less as well, but the data rate is still extremely high, and it means you have to invest in even more storage solutions for your projects. Next up is IBIS, in-body image stabilization. Now this is something that some people will not miss on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, but again, using these shoots I've just completed, I've just been on, all of those projects were shot handheld. We wanted the feel to be natural and organic, and handheld was obviously the way we wanted to do that. Using a 70 to 200mm lens on that camera meant that I could shoot that whole thing using image stabilization. The lens was stabilized and the body was stabilized, meaning that it's just a much more flexible option. Using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I probably wouldn't even got even close to the same type of results, the same standard of results using this camera. Next one is kind of obvious, and it's no stills. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera does shoot stills, but it's just really not designed for it. You're not going to get great photos out of this camera. It's just not what it was designed for. And again, having one of these hybrid mirrorless cameras is just a massive advantage. If you're on a shoot with a client, you can just switch from video to stills super quick. You only need one person there doing both of those things. And again, it's just a huge advantage. I'm going to need to pair my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera with another camera. Now that's fine, I'm happy to do that, but you do just need to be aware of that at the time of purchase. This is not a stills camera. If you are looking to do any photography at all, you're going to need to invest in another piece of gear. So now we're talking about B-RAW, Blackmagic RAW. This file format is obviously incredible for things like color grading, but the file storage is quite large and it is not a universal file format yet, meaning that if you shoot .b-raw or these .b-raw files kind of have to be edited within DaVinci Resolve. You can't just drop those into Final Cut Pro as of yet. I work with Final Cut full time for my professional work, and not being able to hand those projects off to other editors could really cause issues. Personally, as I already mentioned, I shoot ProRes LT out of this camera. It's still a really great image to grade, lots of flexibility, but you are losing functionality by not shooting RAW.
Yeah.
Next up, I want to talk about rigging. Now, if you missed my video on how I rig out my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I'll link that down below in the description if you want to check that out. But this is not an incognito camera. On those shoots which I talked about earlier, I was just walking around with the A7 III around my neck with the 70-200 on, and you look like a photographer. You just blend into the background. Having a big camera rig is going to get attention drawn to you. It's going to get people coming up and asking what you're shooting for. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes having a nice rig in front of clients can be a great benefit, but sometimes you want to blend in, and this is not the camera to do that. There we go. So those are just some of my thoughts about what to consider with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. It certainly isn't all negative. This camera is just gorgeous. The picture that you get out of these cameras is probably the best thing I've ever personally shot. I've never shot with a cinema camera before. It has been an absolute joy to do. There are some real advantages as well. Shooting to SSD media instead of faffing around with SD cards has been an absolute game changer in my workflow. Being able to shoot onto SSD and then just plug it straight into my computer and even edit off those drives is just a whole new experience for me. I absolutely love the fact that it's got an aux in. Previously, I had to record all of my audio on my mic and sync it in post. I don't have to do that now. I can just record from an aux directly into the mini aux on the side of the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. Absolute dream. And as I mentioned, the picture is just incredible, but just be informed, make the right decision for you and the content production that you do. And again, pairing the camera like a Pocket 4K, Pocket 6K with one of these hybrid mirrorless still cameras is just a really great option, and you tick off the fact that you often need an A camera and a B camera to shoot interviews with properly. So this is the type of route I'm definitely going to be going. Hopefully you guys have found this video interesting or helpful. If you have any questions about the Pocket 4K or about my workflow using it, please just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.